itself. Do you think that these plays require better actors as opposed to previous plays before, where they would generally have to play either stereotypes or maybe some basically just be good orators in that Shakespearean play?
Well, in one sense, yes. In the other sense, by allowing more freedom and not hamstringing them, you could potentially tap into lesser actors and draw them out. That's my idea. Whether that actually works in reality, that'll have to wait until someone starts producing some of these plays. But I mean, in this play, for example, I think I say at some point in the stage directions that the words and stuff in the replay. This also, like Big Al's Genia, has a replay at the end of the play, and I say the words are not as important. Meaning that if an actor were to flub a line or misstate something, it's not that important as long as the music, the Vivaldi music, the lighting, as long as that stuff is in sync and we get the general tenor emotionally of the scene, that's the important thing. And I think this play, in its own way, has about as powerful an ending as the Big Al's Gina play. These last two plays have been really emotional gut punches. And the difference in this next play I'm going to write is I'm just going to annihilate the audience right at the beginning of the play, and then draw the audience slowly back towards the reality and sanity at the end. And so that's going to be the interesting thing to do. And I know exactly how to do it and exactly what I'm doing. But that's the fun. And one of the things, too, I like in doing these plays is that I spent the last 4 or 5 years writing a lot of these long, big books, even a book like The Scorpion Swam, which is, I think, like 160 or 170,000 words. By my standards, isn't a long book. But a book that length for most of these fucking shit writers out there would take them a decade to write. Even if they were taking sabbaticals and whatnot from their sinecures in academia. But being able to do these plays and being able to just spend, even a long play that's maybe, at the most might take me 2 weeks to do 60,000 words, depending on how complex some of the lighting and stuff was. So to be able to just keep throwing logs into the fire, that's the thing, is I want to just build up this momentum that, like the play Othello, that in a year, if I've written 35, 40 plays by this time next year, there's a part of me that is competitive and wants to show this can be done. Not only can you write, can greatness be replicable? Not only can I write a great sonnet on camera 20 years ago, and the last time we spoke, I said, I'll take up the challenge. If there's a documentary filmmaker out there, come do a documentary on me or Cosmoetica, and if you want to, I'll give you a twofer. While you're doing a documentary about me and my life and Cosmoetica, you can also do a documentary. I'll write a fucking great play for you over 25 or 30 hours. Because it took maybe about 25 to 30 hours for this smallest play spread out. Well, it took, if I combined the times of just thinking about things before I wrote the plays, But so anyway, so this play, the last play, Exteriors, which is a standalone play, it's not part of any trilogy. That play is a play that is technically, theatrically, dramatically going to be the most involved, and in some sense it lessens what the actors need to do. But if you get the actors who are on par with this, I mean, it's going to totally click.
Well, since we spoke about the plays, just one final point, but what do you see in the future for this? Do you see yourself experimenting with longer forms of plays? Say, instead of 60,000 words, 100,000 words. I remember I mentioned that to you once before, and you said that it was absurd for actors to have to remember 100,000 words. Chin John Zeong said that he had, his father or something had seen once an 8.5 hour long Chinese play. I think you can get away with that in movies, but
I don't think there's any way a play can be that compelling for 8.5 hours, and I think the actors would get tired and whatnot. So I think my play at 59,000, or what's his name's O'Neill's The Iceman Cometh, which clocks in at 60,000, is about the absolute longest that they could go. So yeah, I would say
too how you would never go to screenplays too, because they're for the most part, even if it's a great screenplay, they're created in the moment as needs come.
Yeah.
I
mean,
changed and altered.
The only possible way I would ever do a screenplay, and I'd only do one, is if somehow, if my name became big enough in 5 or 10 years or however long, and someone said to me, Dan, we want you to do a screenplay, I'd say, okay, I'll do a screenplay only on one condition. I'll write or doctor a screenplay for you, but you'll have to agree to do the screenplay of George Dickerson, who wrote his own story in a war. And I'd say, if any changes need to be made to that, they'd have to run by me. So, but that's again probably a fantasy, because I don't think in my lifetime I'm ever going to have that kind of leverage. But I do think it.
Is it a high quality or something?
Oh yeah, the George Dickerson screenplay is a very good screenplay. I read it back in 2009. Yeah, so I mean, I'm hoping that in the next year, maybe I can get a few nibbles on some of these plays. If I write 25, 30 plays, that I'll have enough to send around this coming, not next week here, this starting Monday, but the Monday after that, I'm off for a week, so I'm going to do that play, and in the evenings, I'm going to send around to a lot of playhouses. I'm going to see which playhouses are looking at manuscripts. I sent around to like 5 or 6 of the actors I interviewed. I only got one that wrote back to me thus far. I didn't expect anything, unfortunately. But, you know.
Do you see yourself also depersonalizing play? You said that you want to create personal stories in your plays, but would you bring in any other higher ideas, say from Norwegian or Jenny Brothers or something of that sort that's less personal?
There will be plays that will be total fictions at some point. What I see is maybe for the next year and a half, 2 years, me doing this run of plays, 25, 30, 40, or whatnot. Then, hopefully, if I get this job back at the supermarket that I was trying to get out of, this custodial job that I had, if I got that and I'm back to a decent job, getting decent pay again, then maybe then I'll definitely have to write a book on my custodial janitorial experience, and that would be a raucous comedy, and then do maybe that Gorgeous George play, and then maybe the Con trilogies. So I would maybe then go back to writing novels for a few years. But if a play came, then I might end up for the next decade, say, doing 2 or 3 years of plays, then having 2 or 3 years of novels, then doing a year where I do another 10 plays or something, because you have to recharge, and going back and forth is a good way to do that. But before we end, I want to show you won't be able to see it, because in order to get my image on screen, I'm recording this off of my Logitech webcam, which means that the Skype that you're speaking on can't be heard. So anyone wondering why we're not together side by side, that's the reason. For some reason, I can't get your image and my image side by side. That would probably be the ideal way to conduct an interview.